What's up, man?
What up, dude?
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, you've been going hard on Instagram lately. That's why I was like, I've been seeing you. You've been posting a lot of video stuff. So I was like, oh, dude, I gotta have you on.
You know what, dude? I was kind of like silent on Instagram and almost all of social for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then I was, it's time to go on.
What was the reasoning?
Switch. You know what?
Burnout?
I was not even burnout. I just didn't think it was a high priority for me at the time. Mm-hmm. The route that I chose with video was to work with agencies and marketing companies.
Yeah.
I did not choose like the creator route.
Yeah.
And so it's just not a high priority for me, building relationships and, doing, video.
It's interesting when people that are really good at video, their own stuff, they never post. Or they don't, like, I guess because you guys are just so busy and, like, your mind is taken up by so many more, like, creative projects for other people that your own projects, like, go off to the wayside.
Entirely.
Like, Adrian's never posts on Instagram. Yes, Adrian, I'm talking about you. Like,
and
he never posts, and then he'll post, like, he'll share one of my posts, and then people hit him up for business. And he's like, man, if I just did that more often. I'm like, yeah.
Yes, literally. The best way to use video isn't to fabricate some crazy story or some crazy production. Mm-hmm. It's to just capture what works, capture what's awesome, and let it be unbound into the digital world.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's just so interesting. I think it's hilarious, like how like it's only really like creators. Like like it would be fun, like realtors that sold a house, but they always post that they sold a house, or they always post they're showing houses, or like so it's like creators like. It's like you're so in the moment of creating, it's hard to document your creating. Right. It's like it's almost like you don't have so much time and space in your brain that it's like the last project is your own. Yeah.
So it does take a different mindset, and that's why I pulled back from it for a while. Mm-hmm. And then now I actually have a lot of different projects ready to release. And so the reason I've been more active on Instagram is to build that up, and so that when I do release my shows, my projects, it's ready.
Yeah.
It has attraction, and those relationships are built digitally.
Through that way. I mean, and it's almost like proven. It's like I don't think people realize like it's like you're basically like selling and proving like this is a product that you'll get if you hire me.
Entirely. Yeah. Entirely.
It's just tough, man. Especially like for you guys too. Probably like when you're working with an account or a client or whatever. It's like you can't even post the stuff you shot for them until they post, and it's
Yeah, there's a lots of different hoops and things you have to jump through. I know there are so many projects that I am dying to post, even from months ago, even from over a year ago, that I can't post yet
because they haven't posted them yet.
They haven't posted them yet, or they scrapped it even though it's finished and it's a beautiful product. They just changed directions. And so it's just one of those things. But the best way to do it is for creators, is for, video people to post so they can practice what they preach.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I think is a no-brainer is YouTube.
For sure.
And so I'm creating long-form content for YouTube and then just breaking everything off into social from there.
And then I think that's what, we started doing too, is like creating YouTube videos and then turning those videos and ideas that we're shooting maybe 5 to 7 minutes videos long, like dropping it down to like 45 seconds into a reel.
Right.
And like, it's just like having to change. I always think that's funny too when people are like, oh, I want to do what you do. Okay, cool. Well, shoot a YouTube video, then shoot one for Instagram, then shoot one for Facebook, and then shoot, like, it's not just one and then you take that one and it just, the platforms don't work. People, I think that's the thing that it's hard with creating, is like you're creating for every different platform. Like, that's why I don't do well on TikTok, because I don't make the content that people are looking for on TikTok.
Right.
It's
a different style. It's a different communication method. It's a different environment entirely. And so, that's why somebody like me, like a video strategist, if you will, is great, because you can plan around how can we shoot this once and reuse it 50 times over the next 3 months.
Well, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, I think like the big thing you'll see like on YouTube a lot now is like people going live for like 2 hours, and then they take those 2-hour lives and then chop them up in segments and then post the segments out. I mean, really, that's like the game. That's something I wish we did a better job here, to be honest, of like taking the podcast and then making a million clips from each podcast. The problem is it's like we just don't have enough. I'd have to hire another person and then another payroll, and then it's like we're just not at that place yet to have to like to do that, and then like get like 4 views on it, and then it's like, I'm not really making. If I was making money on the podcast, I would hire more people to do the podcast. But right here, it's just like fun and games for right now.
I think that's interesting because for me, I think it's a genius idea.
100%.
Because you're gonna film 30 minutes for an hour, maybe even.
Yeah.
But you're really only going for those 9 golden nuggets.
Oh yeah, those
the little 30
pocket,
seconds, those 15 seconds, those 60 seconds,
100%.
and then boom, that's what goes.
Trust me. I think maybe if we weren't already pushing out so much other content on my platform, then we would to fill in the content. But then it's like comes to the point where it's like, okay, now I'm posting. Like I try not to post more than like 1 to 2 actual posts on Instagram a day, and then maybe like 9 stories. Obviously that varies, but on average, I think I average like 7 a day. I think it is right now. So for me, it's like, what am I gonna add? Another 3 more, like 10. So it's something we definitely need to do in the future. But then it's like I said, the hard part is like hiring another person, taking on another, $30,000 worth of salary per year to create reels. You know what I mean?
Right.
More reels. It's that partner at you're like, it's easy for like Logan Paul to do it or guys at their Joe Rogan or whatever, but to like do it, I don't think people realize like there's so many people behind a podcast on those levels of clipping and changing the platforms for all the platforms and Instagram and TikTok, and it's like, dude, there's so many people running those.
It's a massive team, and oftentimes it's a massive operation. I mean, look what you have here. This is a beautiful space. You guys revamped it.
Yeah.
It sounds great. It looks great, and it communicates in the value and
I'm just some idiot with a camera. You know what I mean? Can you imagine like I don't think people like something like with like Gary Vee, like he has like 12 people on the Gary Vee team. That's 12 people just to manage his content, and to control his life. So
imagine the
levels,
planning and the layers to that game.
So what kind of made you get into video? Is it something you always thought you would like? Like I have no, like I'm on camera all day long, but I have no eye for the camera. Like I could not shoot something if I had to. I have no creative eye at all. Like, so for you, was it just something that you knew you had in you, or you just kind of fell upon it, or it was like something you always wanted to do?
Actually, neither. When I was younger, I was into it. We were making sci-fi films, skate, videos. We were doing all the things with YouTube in the first couple years it was out. And so I never had a channel myself, but I was a huge contributor to a bunch of my friends' channels, whether I was filming, acting, whatever it was. And so as I got in, to high school and I started shooting photography, I had a friend, Adam Sims, and he was like, hey, I have a million photographers, but I have no video people. Can I teach you, and will you film? I said, sure. And so that led me down a crazy ass journey of learning how to film. That led me to marketing, learned how to do marketing. And then after I did that, I went into the film industry, worked under Jacob Owens and the Buff Nerds, which are amazing people. And what else? Now I run a video agency called Radiate Video, and I combine all of those elements.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how people don't realize, like we'll be talking to them and be like, oh, can Adrian come and just take some photos? I'm like, no, that's not what he does. He's a videographer.
Right.
And they're like, but he has a camera. I'm like, I know, but like videographers are different than photographers.
Entirely.
It's 2 different worlds. And they're like, and it's so interesting to explain that to people, which I didn't really know that until I got in this world. But it's like, it is. And I go, and it's 2 separate different cameras. It's 2 separate different styles. It's not like one or the other. Like, or like, oh, does Adrian shoot your houses? I'm like, no, Peter shoots my houses. Well, why don't you just have Adrian? Adrian's eye is not to shoot homes. Peter's eye is to shoot homes. He knows how to hit the angles, and he knows how to square up photos and color. And like, I'm like, it's 2 completely different worlds.
Entirely. And so, for example, I had a client call the other day. She was looking to pretty much build resource guides. And so resource guides for people looking to move, looking to reorganize their home, things like that. And so what she did was, hey, I'm going to build all these guides and build a website and build a brand and do all these things and sell it. And I was like, why are you selling PDFs for $50 when you could sell the same information on video and 3x, 10x your price ethically?
Yeah.
And so not only that, you're able to communicate more efficiently.
Yeah.
You're able to show visually how things are breaking down. And it's just really just the best way to receive and communicate information. And so it was a no-brainer. And so she actually hit me up for photography. And I was like, hey, I could do that for you, but I can't do that for you at the best level. Referred her to a friend and said, hey, come back to me when all your stuff is launched. I will help you out and we will do amazing work.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to do it.
Well, because you can totally, like, they might not be able to see the difference, but I can see the difference now from just like Sony and Canon cameras. Like for me, like home shot in Canon on a Canon like a 70D compared to shooting on a Sony A 7i or triple I, whatever it is at now. Like I can tell the difference. Like I can see, like we used to shoot on Canons and now I'll look at old photos properties and now what we shoot on now and I'm like, dude, like I'm a Sony guy. Like I like how Sony's look.
Difference.
I love how Sony's look. I love the sharpness of them. Where if someone comes and shows up, like if someone was gonna show up to shoot my house with a Canon, I'd be like, no. And they're like,
really?
Oh yeah, I will not let someone. I mean, I'll always use Peter, but say something happens, maybe he moves out of state, whatever. Like the first question I will ask is, what camera you shoot on it?
Really?
Because
That's
for me,
so
like I can tell the difference.
It's so fascinating.
But my clients can't, but I can. I can see the sharpness in a Sony over a Canon.
It's just a sensor type. That's
that's all it is.
That's all it is.
But it's so it's like, it's funny when photographers try to come to me like, oh, I want to shoot houses. The first question, well, what camera are you going to shoot on? Oh, I'm shooting on an A6500. That's not going to work. Why? That's a half frame, not a full frame.
Right.
You're gonna need a full frame camera. Blah blah. They're like, really? And I go, trust me, I've seen it shot on a half frame. It doesn't work. But they don't know that, and that's something you have to probably educate your clients because they don't know the difference either. Yeah,
I mean, you know what? It's funny that you say that because for me, I could care less.
Oh, I'm so huge on it.
I could care less.
Oh, so huge.
This is what's fascinating about, my philosophy on video is that I don't care about production because most things that we create in 2022 are not evergreen.
Oh, yeah, because
it's all quick.
Yeah, for sure.
And people forget in one scroll. And so.
Well, that's why I argue with people with content. They're like so worried. I'm like, dude, your content will maybe get seen by 30 people. You're so worried. 30 people are going to see that video you shot. So if it's not perfect, no one's going to care. They're not even going to know the difference.
And there's no such thing as perfect because perfect is just it's an excuse.
Well, even like, I've heard articles or podcasts or whatever, interviews with people that are like full-time, high-end Hollywood movie producers. And even they say like, yeah, I mean, the movie's great. Star Wars was great, but it wasn't perfect. There's some spots we could have changed or fixed. It's always something.
The Disney show, I'm not sure which one it is, Boba Fett, had an insane budget. And I could literally see it in the first episode, in the first 5 minutes, handfuls of mistakes.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars being spent, like $300 million, like something ridiculous. Still happens.
Yeah. So right now, are you, obviously so many people try to get into the space that you're in. Like how have you been trying to really work in 2022? Obviously probably 2020 was really big for you guys because everyone went to that digital age. Was it something that like was already going that direction, you felt like in 2019, but you felt like 2020 just kind of like forced everyone into the space now
entirely.
To like have to go to video?
Yeah, so pretty much 2020 made every business walk the plank. And if they were not willing to jump, basically they're sinking now. And so video was kind of already on the rise for the past few years. And I was on that, I was watching those numbers rise and rise and rise. Pre-pandemic, Cisco does an annual global report of all internet traffic. And it was reported that video would be 80% of all internet traffic pre-pandemic. Imagine where we're at now, now that everyone has spent months and months and months, basically 2 years at home, watching Netflix, watching YouTube, consuming content.
Yeah.
And so if you're not creating content, if you're not publishing content, if you're not on YouTube as a business, when people search you up, if they don't find you, you lost their business.
Yeah.
Because the next person did.
Well, I always tell people all the time, like, how often do you Google yourself? And they're like, what? And I'm like, I Google myself once a month. And they're like, why? I was like, I want to see what comes up in the first 5 articles? Is it my Instagram? Is it my, like, if it's my Twitter, then I need to start focusing more on Twitter. Even though I'm not high on Twitter. It's a platform that I fall off on a lot. So like for me, it's like, I don't want my Twitter to actually be up there. I'd rather, so even like I've had to make decisions like, is my TikTok showing up? Because if my TikTok's showing up, then I'm forced, luckily it doesn't show up because I don't like to be on it. It's crazy to me how people don't Google their names. Like you should, like if you're not Googling yourself once a month to see what comes up in the first 5, and then like your name, then maybe your name and what you do, maybe your business. Like it's because that's what people are doing. It's the way people search now. Yeah.
Search engine optimization. YouTube is literally Google for video.
Yeah. It's the second most search. I live on YouTube. Like I was having lunch with someone yesterday and when I was talking, I was like, oh yeah, I only watch YouTube. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I have shows on YouTube that I watch on YouTube, like people that post every day. I was like, I don't watch Netflix, I don't watch Hulu, I don't have cable, I don't watch ESPN, nothing. They're like, I only watch YouTube. And it was crazy because he's like, I never watch YouTube. And I'm like, you don't? And then he's like, no.
You know what's funny?
What?
I don't watch YouTube. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch TV.
I watch YouTube all the time.
I barely watch movies.
I don't watch any movies. Movies for me is just like when someone's like, oh, you want to watch a movie? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep. So yeah. I when I first started, I was really into like consuming content so much, like Gary and Grant and podcasts and the reading and this and that. And I think now I'm at a place where I'm just so burnt out by that. And like coaching programs, like
right.
And I've already done 3 coaching programs this year. So sometimes for me, like I get sometimes burnt out because it's just like so much like time to read or watch something, and then you're like, oh sweet, I got like one thing out of it, and that one thing might have been great, but sometimes I'm like, you ever think about this, you're like, fuck, I could write a book. Like someone sold that book, I could write a better book with more information than that.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, most books are actually ghost written.
100%. Yeah.
And if you're not selling something after the book's a waste of time.
The book is just an intro,
right? And so
it's almost like you should give the book away for free.
Have you checked out Alex Hormozi's content yet?
No, I haven't.
It's probably one of the best businessmen, one of the best creators giving pure value for free.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally go to acquisition.com and take a free online course that he gives away. He only works with, businesses $3 to $10 million and helps them scale and exit in 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And so basically, he gives high-ticket course level content for free.
Well, because that's not his mainstream of business.
Yeah.
That's why I always laugh. Like, that's the hard thing that sucks nowadays. Is like, I laugh because like, when you know what to look for, it's like people will have like 1 million followers. They're taking private jets, whatever. And then you Google their name and there's like 4 articles about them, and they're all dropped like almost around the same day. And it's like, do you realize? Yeah,
They're paid articles.
They're paid articles. Like to say that you're in the Wall Street Journal, it's called sponsor ads. You're literally paying to be on that platform, and it's so crazy because it's like when you know what to look for, So when that person's selling a course, you're like, dude, you don't. If you're that big, you would have article after article after article about you, not just for 3 days, and
right.
like. That's the thing that sucks nowadays is you have to be so careful who you get sucked into because like they might have no idea what they're talking about.
And you know what? That's something that I actually love about video is that you can't fake on video like you can fake in a photo, like you could fake in a magazine, like you could fake on the internet. You just can't. And so authenticity is the winner.
It's interesting why people are still so scared of video. I don't know if it's because they feel like insecure over it or like I try to tell people, I'm like, what you are on video is what you are in real life.
Entirely.
So there's no difference. So if I'm talking to you right now, but there's a camera there, it's the same thing if you're there.
And you know what? People aren't conditioned to talk to cameras, and that's why it's the director's job on set when filming, no matter what it is, whether it's social content or a commercial. It's the director's job to make sure people are comfortable, everything is going smooth, because as soon as that person feels uncomfortable, the video's shot.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good. It's going to be awkward, and it will not be authentic content.
So what's something you kind of help your clients with that are uncomfortable on camera get more comfortable?
I start rolling and start shooting before people even
You're
realize.
even talking. Yeah. That's like, it's interesting. Like the things that get said before the podcast, like I've had people in here and they're just chatting. And then the moment I go like, all right, let's get going. And then they're like, I could tell a difference. And I'm almost like, we just sat in here for 10 minutes doing the same thing.
The exact same thing.
But because I went like this to start the podcast, now all of a sudden I can see the change in like how you're acting and how you're talking and the way it's like,
it's all mental.
When it's like all these cameras have been on, these are on.
Right. We're the only ones in here.
We're the only ones in here. And now all of a sudden I say go, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, and then like start acting different. And,
right.
So moving forward for you, like, are you just doubling down now on growing the business and getting more clients, or are you at a happy medium right now with who you're working with?
Right now, I'm actually niching down. And so what I've done before, because video is so high value, you can almost go anywhere and sell it. But the thing is, unless you want to be a commodity and sell like everybody else, have the same product, it's pointless, right? And so for me, I want to master business. I want to master, creating offers and sales and products, because then all it takes is me finding really awesome people to work with, really badass businesses run by really amazing people, and then just show the world their talents. And so that's what I was doing before. But now, because I'm, doubled down on my fitness game, I've been bodybuilding a little bit, been diving into MMA pretty heavy, Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. I want to just kind of niche down into the fitness world.
Yeah.
And so in the past few months, I've been beginning to pivot towards that direction. But before that, literally, just working with people that I want to work with.
Yeah.
I don't work with everyone, and that's what people don't realize. A videographer, here's money, do this. Me, if I don't align with your energy, if I don't align with your goals, if I don't align with your mission, I'm going to say no.
Yeah. Do you feel like too many videographers, when they first get in, don't create a niche? They're so wide that it's like every different style of whatever they're shooting takes a style, and if you don't niche down, you never find your style?
Yes, I think most creators also get into it for the wrong reasons. Because if you get it in for the money, if you get it in for the clout, if you get into it for really any superficial reason, you won't last, because you have to want this.
Yeah.
And I want this. I will outwork you. I will outsmart you. I will endure more pain to learn the harder lessons to make sure I last longer.
Well, going to that, what hard lessons have you learned in the last few years?
Ooh. You know how I was talking about offers?
Yeah.
I probably missed out on hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars simply because my offer was not one of one. And if when you have a one of one offer, for example, you sell as a fitness coach or as a gym owner $99 packages, right? You're selling $99 memberships, come in, lose some weight, whatever, right? If you sell a 6-week challenge for $600 up front, all your money back if you don't lose 20 pounds, that's a different offer.
It's a one for one.
It's a one for one. And so what I was doing before was selling video business cards, which is a better version, if not the best version, of a video sales letter, which is what most people use. Most people look up online, what do I need to do what do I need to buy? And so video sales letter, but there's no human element. It's not organic. It's not natural. It's not authentic. The video business card is. And so it combines all the major elements of your business, and it puts it into a 2-minute business asset that you can reuse to build connections and really sell. Those are the two major things. And so it unbinds you from time and space, because you can only be open so many hours a day. You can only, be awake. You can only, do so many different things and have so many, employees. And so the video literally unbinds you. If you just capture what works, let it be unbound, it'll produce. And so you control who sees it, when they see it, how long they see it. And so when that happens, it's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And so what I was doing is I just had it packaged wrong. And so now I've packaged it better and I'm ready to launch. And so with that, with the offer launch, I'm also bringing in a podcast and 2 other shows to really just overwhelm the internet with positivity, overwhelm the internet with value, my community. There have been so many people that have done awesome stuff for me, that have shared amazing information, countless things. And so this is really just an effort to really give back to my community, because what would it be like if I gained all this information, gained all this experience, gained all this skill, and just kept it and made money and didn't give anything back? And so that's how I really think businesses should operate. If you care about your customers, you will educate them. If you don't, you probably don't care, and you should probably get out of business. And so that's just my attitude towards it.
I think it's so funny. Like, I always tell agents that all the time, like, stop putting like a house on the market and then like DM me for the information. Just like put the information out there, and if they want to work with you, they'll send you a message. You know, I think that's the thing too, is like so many people in sales think it's like a bait and switch. Like, I got to capture your information. It's like, I tell people all the time, like, dude, every video I make is just educational. And if they have a question, they'll then hit me up because they know I can answer the question they're asking.
Right.
But if you're just always like, keep everything to your chest, like, you're not that special. I hope everyone realizes that. Like, you're not Elon Musk.
Nope.
Like, we're most of us are all the same. Maybe you find a niche that you're kind of good at. But I think the thing is like, I'm all about like experiences in life. Like, how many conversations I've had with people that I would never had if I didn't try to do this.
Right.
And that just opens up my life to more conversation, and more conversations move to more education, more learn from people. It's like, that's what it's about, not consuming nothing. It's about surrounding yourself with new experiences. So I never say no to anything.
Really?
I never say no. No. One of my best friends, Trip, he lives up in Seattle. He's like, you never say no, do you? I'm like, no. Like, I've literally had him like, yo, I'll be in New York for a week in like 3 weeks. Like, you down? And I'm literally like, all right, book a flight. And the reason people always go like, why do you say that? And I go, well, because no, when you say no to something, one, it's easy to say no. That's one. When you say no, nothing can change in your life. But if you say yes, there's no guarantee it will change, but it can change. So I always say yes to everything.
That's so interesting, because right now I'm in a season of learning to say no to more things.
But so your mistake is that you're putting yourself in a position where you have to say no.
I agree.
I agree. If you have to say no, it's you putting yourself in positions that you don't. Perfect example.
Right.
I'm not drinking right now.
Me neither.
I went to Romano's yesterday with someone to have lunch. Every time we go there, we drink. So when I went there, I put myself in a situation to have to say no to something. But what if we went to, I don't even know, Olive Garden, right? We don't drink at Olive Garden. So I put myself in a situation where I had to say no yesterday. So that's the thing is if you're saying no to people or to situations, you are allowing yourself to be put in that position.
Right. Entirely.
And so my thing is like, the reason I can always say yes is because I'm never putting myself in a position where I have to say no.
That's a really interesting perspective. I really like that.
Yeah. So it's like the people I interact with on a daily basis, if they ask me for something, I'm going to say yes. Because if it's someone I'd have to say no to, I shouldn't be interacting with them.
That's really interesting. It's kind of like a twist off of my own thought, but it really takes it a step further and then some.
Yeah. I think it's like learning, like, you know how people like the book, like Learning to Say No? I think that's great. You should know how to say no to people, but it's like learning just not have to say no.
Right. I think that's also a beauty of what content and video does. As you post, as you communicate, as you share, you'll
attract the people that want to attract with you.
You'll feel it. Every time I post something on Instagram, I can feel certain people pushed away, and I can feel a whole new crowd being drawn to me.
For sure. It's like, a lot of realtors don't like my content because I think I make content that is leveling up the bar of putting out content for realtors. So when people are like, oh yeah, I don't like, but I'm like, I'm not making the content for you to like me anyway.
Right.
I don't give a crap if you like me or not. And I'm not going to stop making content because someone who is in my space doesn't want to make the content with me.
Right.
More or less, it should be like, oh, he's doing that. It's like, for example, this room, like you were talking about before. We had a podcast room. And I thought, yeah, it was a podcast room. We were probably one of the first people to have a podcast room in the real estate market in Riverside. And then I walked in one day, I was like, but what if someone else gets one? Ours is not going to be nicer than theirs because ours sucks. It's just a black room with a table. So I came in one day and I ripped everything down. I go, all right, now I'm going to make a podcast room before anyone else makes a podcast room better than the podcast room they can make. And I'm like, and I'm going to invest $5,000 into a room. So then it's even better than they could even do from the start. There's not even another one I know about, but I'm going to make one better than the one they have.
I love that. And you know what's one of my favorite things about what you share online is you say, make a post that a beginner realtor cannot make.
Yeah.
That is absolutely brilliant.
It's anyone in any industry. The moment, because the problem is like that post doesn't separate you from anyone else. And it takes you longer to create content that someone who's brand new can't make. So it's like, then that separates you from this person. Because what people don't get, like you said, you have 3 to 5 seconds to convince someone who you are. So if we're posting the same thing, like I know a little bit about cameras and and shooting video, a shit ton more. But if you were making the same content that I was making, no one would know the difference.
Nope.
No one would know the difference.
I would probably shoot what you do on iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's interesting. When I said I don't like production, I don't care. I will make the same video on iPhone as I will on Sony, and it will sell the same.
Oh, for sure. So do you know why we do the camera? Do you know why we do the camera?
Why?
Because the moment I walk into the room with someone following me with a camera over an iPhone, it immediately brings up my status in that room.
Sets the tone.
Exactly. Cool. Bust out your iPhone. Look what we have. And they're the same, literally. That's why I try to tell people, don't think you have to go buy the camera.
Nope.
Yeah. I was shooting, back in the day when we were shooting, they were like the iPhone 7, it was like 720 or maybe 40, 80 or 56, whatever it is. Yeah, that crap was terrible, and you could tell the difference. But like now, dude, the cameras are so good, you don't need to. But the only reason I do it is status.
Shoots 4K.
Exactly. You don't need anything else.
Nope.
The only reason we do it, honestly, is so when we walk into a room, the attitude of what people think that room, and
he's got a camera guy. Oh,
and they have a camera guy.
Gary Vee.
Look at Gary.
Oh shit.
And then it's like almost like intimidation, where it's like, oh, I can't do what he does. He has that. He has him. When I tell people all the time, I used to shoot my Canon 70D by myself because I want to be like Casey Neistat. That's the whole reason I got into vlogging was Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat and Gary Vee was the two people reason I got into, and that's where I spent so much money on gear back in the day for no fucking reason. I had like the Canon 70D. I had like all the stuff Neistat had, and then Neistat switched, and then I switched to like a mirrorless.
You drank the Kool-Aid.
I drank so much Kool-Aid on so much crap I didn't need. Even like this room, like these are the mics that Rogan has. Our mics before were fine, but I was like, no. I'm like, no, we're gonna have Rogan mics. And Adrian's like, they're expensive. I'm like, don't care. We're going to have Rogan mics.
That's what's interesting about video and about content is the looks matter.
Yeah.
What you show matters.
For sure. And I actually will say there is a difference. Like we didn't have to soundproof this room as good as before because the mics are better. So it did help.
These are condenser mics. It's built for this.
It's built for this. And so we definitely needed that. But so for me, like, that is my biggest thing is like, how do we create something that someone who is starting today can't create? And that's really the difference. I think that's the way you separate yourself from everyone. Just like even our intro bumpers. We don't need intro bumpers. We don't need the cool intros, but Adrian can make them. Why are we not going to make something better than what a brand new person can make?
I've seen the new intro.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like the different shots of Riverside.
Yeah, so that's our new show. It's going to be called Living in Riverside. That's starting next week.
Ooh, tell me about it.
So basically what it is I hired a guy for $4,000 to coach me on YouTube. And basically what it is that the show is going to be based around because something I struggle with is actually making content to bring in leads. Making content just for leads. All the content I make now is like educational, passive, like hit me up if you need something, whatever. But we're gonna make like basically the video is like going around Riverside and the other areas. I think we're gonna go all the way down to Temecula and all the way up to Rancho.
Nice.
And basically what it is like just a hook, like you're thinking about moving to Riverside, California. On this video, we're going to take you around some neighborhoods, show you some different houses at different price points. This may fit your budget. Stick around to the end so you can see what's going on in the Riverside market. And then it's like intro, buffer, then the hook. If you're thinking about moving to Riverside, California, we get calls and texts every single day. If you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, And then it's, hi, my name is Adam with Living in Riverside. And then if you're thinking about moving to Riverside, we're in downtown today, blah, blah, blah. And then
that's so funny.
And then we're going to go to like 3 different houses and then like just not even go in the houses, just walk outside. This is a 1950 built home, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 700,000. This is what this, and then like when you're leaving the neighborhood, like B-roll the neighborhood so they can see that, and then go to 3 different houses, then do a close up and get it out. And then, because it's all about going to be the SEO. So when someone's like, what is it like to live in Riverside? What is it like living in Riverside? Where should I live in Riverside? And then it's going to be all the way from Riverside. And we're going to do like videos in Riverside, Moreno Valley.
Holding in an empire, expand. Really just dominate.
And the only reason we're doing like living in Riverside is because like based on the SEO searches, it just hits better than living in the Inland Empire.
Right. No one searches that.
No one searches that. So and then we're actually just going to hire his team to edit, produce, and put it out there.
Nice.
The reason we're doing that is they're already doing it in Dallas. So it's like they already know how to do it. So instead of us spending 7 to 8 months trying to master it, we'll just pay them a small, in my opinion, a small fee for them to do it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually pitched a different realtor an idea, which is not the same, but vastly similar.
Oh,
like
really?
as you were saying it, I was like really taken back and like, wow, if that other realtor had done it, you couldn't have done it. And like, that's the power of video.
Well, the thing is
and
that
like,
it's like, can you do it?
Right.
And then can you go in the paint with me? That's the other thing that people don't get. Like, I'm planning on doing 90 podcasts this year. That's not easy.
Nope.
No. So it's like, cool, you wanted to run a podcast? Great, we'll do 90 of them. You want to shoot content? All right, every single day. Right. You want to make YouTube videos about Riverside? Great. I'm going to be doing 3 videos a week, and I'm going to, it's like fighting. I'm not going to knock you out maybe the first round, but I'm going to body you up for 12 rounds, and you're going to want to quit by the end.
Yep.
Because I'm going to keep going.
That's exactly the same mentality I have.
Yeah. So it's like, and the same thing I try to tell people, like, how does this work for you? I'm like, dude, I've been posting. I have over, let me look exactly number.
You've grown a lot in the past
I definitely been getting
months.
a lot, but like I have 3,086 posts on Instagram. So it's like, if you only have 200, I have over 3,000.
Right.
Of course it works more for me. I have built up a bigger brand equity with people than you have.
And simply Instagram itself, the algorithm, I know the God forbid algorithm, everyone's talking about it, right?
Oh, it's definitely down right now, but yeah.
Absolutely it's down. But the difference is that Instagram sees you as an asset rather than some random account.
Well,
and
because
so,
it's
of course
consistent.
they'll push you.
Well, it's consistent. And obviously, like, there was a girl in here that I did a podcast last week with who only has like 3,000 followers, and her numbers are the exact same as mine. But she's attractive. She's a gym girl.
Right.
She gets a lot of views. She has a good like 20 or 30 girls that, they follow each other in the fitness world. So like they engage a lot. Like, I'm just not going to get that. I think that's the hard part too, is like, if you're an attractive girl, the platforms are meant for you.
Literally.
They're literally meant for you.
Look, if I open up my Instagram right now, and this is not based off of who I follow, what I like.
If you go to the Explorer page.
My Explore page is straight up majority women.
For me, it's women, golf, and fitness. Like, those are the 3 things.
For me,
and the funny thing is I follow no checkmark people, no models. I don't like any model, like, hot chick posts. I don't do any of that. And that's still what they throw in my face all the time.
Isn't that wild? It's bizarre.
Well, it's just like, look at TikTok videos. Like, literally, I got off I got off TikTok because of that. Because I'm like, dude, all it is like girls shaking their butts, and that's every post. And I get why you're doing it. You're getting multiple millions of views, millions and millions of subs. Like, you're paying your bills, which respect, do it. But like, for me, it's a platform that's like, you know what? Like,
it's a platform full of mental masturbation.
100%.
Entirely. And so the content there, in my opinion, the culture there is not something that I personally want to be a huge part of. But I think for businesses, it's huge because it could be a great lead gen source.
Well, I think if you team up with the right people,
entirely,
you have to go out and get influencers to rock your brand. I think it's really what it is that it's like, you have to have someone wearing your t-shirt. You have to have them making a sponsor video. You have to have them. And what people don't understand is like, dude, the power when someone has a following, like, let's just look at crypto dumps, some influencer will come out with a
Pump
new
and dump.
crypto, and then all their followers buy it, and then they pull the rug out something, and it's worth nothing.
That's so funny, dude. So many people ask me about crypto and NFTs, and they ask the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Because I do business. I have no crypto.
I have no
I have
crypto.
no NFTs.
Me neither.
I could probably make ridiculous amounts of money with both, but I just don't care. I don't
Yeah.
even want to give it my time.
Well, it's just you have to be into it. But that's the thing is the moment you get the following, you're unstoppable. Like if tomorrow I went and sold cars, I could sell a shit ton of cars.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Very well, too.
Very well. Because I would just do the same thing I do in real estate, but with cars. Sometimes I actually wish I sold cars, to be honest, because then I at least would have, I could find a car for almost anyone's monthly payment. Housing, I don't have that control. So
Right.
But
Market's
anyway,
pretty insane. I watch your videos.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, I had to have you on because I love watching your stuff, dude. You're super creative, you know, and it's I guess because I'm in the creative world, I can see creative more, you know what I mean? I understand what goes behind the creative stuff. And then too, like I also know what it takes to like be on the platforms every day, and like to realize there's not burnout or the frustration of making content. Making content is very frustrating because some videos pop and then some don't, and you're like, but this one that didn't pop was way better than the one that popped off. Like, why did that? And then there's just like sometimes there's like no method to the madness. Like our best video on YouTube is not great. Like, I mean, it's okay, but like the content style and platform and how we package videos now are way better. And I've tried to remake that video and it doesn't do well. And I'm like, I don't know why.
Well,
maybe because it's in the algorithm and it has
thumbnail, title, everything, SEO,
yeah,
tags.
maybe, but I don't know. But it's just, I know how frustrating that can be when you're trying to like make stuff and you're like, this should pop off, and then it doesn't, and you're like, well, what the hell? And then that one popped off, and then it's like, I don't know.
Well, the market will tell you what's good.
Exactly.
And that's the interesting thing is, you know, if you want to win, make videos, reels, be active, be consistent, take the formula, innovate with your own information and ideas, and just go for it.
Yeah, that's a great way to end it, man. So obviously I'll put your stuff below. If you need video, creative, reach out to them. There's not too many people in the game. You have to be really careful who you hire because just because someone owns a camera doesn't mean they know how to shoot videos. So anyways, man, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, guys. Peace.